the global stage.
Did you know that if you were the only person on earth, Jesus would have still come to die for you?
When you suspect somebody of alcohol intoxication,
Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences.
But have you ever wondered how long it took Adam to sin against God from the day he was created?
To take from you to give to another person,
such that we could remove his heart and replace it with that of the animal.
love does not demand its own way. My goodness.
Hi, I want to welcome you to the global stage. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. It is always a pleasure to have you with me, spending your quality time to listen to the things I have to share with you. Today, I want to talk to you about a very sensitive topic, one that is very dear to the heart of God and also to my heart. And I've titled it, The Silent War Against Children. You know, children are the gifts of trust from God to parents and to guardians. And every parent or guardian has been given that responsibility to bring up a child in the way that God wants them to go and what God has destined for them, and not what you want or what they want. Children are innocent beings at that early stage of their lives. And so what they become of in the future is absolutely dependent on the kind of information and training they receive at that early stage of their lives. And so the most sensitive and crucial time of education for and of a person is when they are young or when they are children. And children are the apple of God's eyes. God takes a special and extra interest in children, for the Bible says that they are angels behold the face of God in heaven. That is in Matthew chapter 18 verse 10. But for a very long time, the devil has had his eyes and attention on children, seeking to destroy them, for he knows how dear they are to the heart of God. And one of the ways the devil is destroying children is through what they call sexual orientation or sexual programs. And I want you to pay a very special, extra attention to what I'm going to say and the image you see. I'll be right back.
Aha! What are you doing there? You've had an apple one day. You'll go blind.
I'm coming! How many times is too many to masturbate in one day?
Hashtag AskAmaze!
There's no limit on the number of times a person can masturbate each day. It's normal to have lots of sexual feelings and desires when going through puberty. And while some people want to do it all day long, others may not want to. Do it as much as you want. But if it's interfering with your schoolwork or keeping you from friends and family, then maybe it's time to slow down.
What are you doing?
Hey, give me some privacy.
Not here.
Only masturbate where you're sure to have some privacy.
Hashtag AskAmaze!
Yes! It's normal. Lots of people watch porn. After all, it's right there and it's free. And anyway, many people are curious about this sex stuff. But, and it's a big but, remember, porn is not real. It's just a fantasy, like superheroes movies. Bodies don't look like those in porn movies. In general, everything is exaggerated. And sex, it often looks very different in real life. So don't expect your own body or sex life once you have one to look anything like what you see in porn. Or to sound like it either.
For real? Is my brother watching porn?
Oh, is that bad? Am I a bad person for watching porn?
Hashtag AskAmaze!
Absolutely not. Watching porn doesn't make you a bad person. It means you're curious. It's normal to want to know about sex and naked bodies. I mean, look at this guy's penis. Isn't it just unreal?
Whoa!
That's the problem with pornography. It doesn't show real bodies and healthy sexual relationships. It's make-believe, and it's made for adults. If you want real info about sex and relationships, put away the porn and go watch Amaze.
Find out more about porn right here on Amaze.
Alright, welcome back. So I want to ask you a question. What do you think of what you just watched? Do you see anything wrong with that? Personally, I do, and that's what I want to talk to you about. Sometimes you wonder, where is YouTube restriction that we know? If you create a content and put any such image, like an image of the genitalia, YouTube will block you. And you know, this children's channel is called Amaze, and Amaze is one of the private institutions that is in partnership with a lot of schools, especially in Africa, under the cloak of comprehensive sex education. And Amaze is actually wolves in sheep clothing. You need to find out what kind of education they are teaching your children at school, especially those in the international schools affiliated with international syllabus outside Africa, especially in the US and also in Europe. Now, one of the strategies of deception, or one of the strategies for the devil when it comes to deception, is to mix truth with a lie. That is the easiest way to deceive a people, is to mix the truth with a lie. And as you watch that video, she said something. She asked the question, is it normal to have sexual feelings and desire when you are going through puberty? And the answer is true. That is right. But like I said, they mix truth with a lie. She asked the question, how many times can one masturbate? And the answer she gave to the kids. Now remember, this is a children's channel, not for adults. And the answer she gave to that question, how many times can one masturbate? She said, there's no limit to how much one can masturbate. Imagine a little child hearing such statement from a children's channel. So the question is, they say, do it as many times you want do it as many times as you want. As long as you don't get this far, you could just continue. Now she asked the question, is it okay to watch porn? And the answer she gave was an emphatic but, that is B-U-T-T. You saw that image of a bat there. And that is profanity. That is pornography for kids. And YouTube would block you if you were the one to put such an image there. But YouTube allows such an image to be on children's channel. And they are telling the children to go ahead and have sex as long as they want and as much as they want. Now, it is very disturbing, because when you talk about, even they mention masturbation and pornography, and there's a lot of psychological trauma when people are going through masturbation, which is terrible. She asked an important question. She said, am I a bad person for watching porn? The answer is no, you are not a bad person when you watch porn. But the question should have been, is it bad to watch a porn? And that would have been yes. But because these people are very smart, they know how to trace their questions. And so if a child hears that I'm not a bad person for watching porn, then what stops me from watching porn? They continue watching, because children, like I said, are very innocent. They are very naive, and anything you tell them, they will believe at that early stage of life. So that is pornography under the guise of sexual education or sex education. Now, what is the real deal about this thing? Let me explain. You know, God, the problem of sin has been dealt with, and God is not after the sin you are committing. He's after what causes you to sin, because if He can deal with what causes you to sin, then the sin wouldn't occur at all. And when you read in Galatians 5 verse 22, one of the gifts that God has placed in every man, every child, as you grow up, is what we call self-control or self-restraint. Self-control is the reason that the world is not a jungle as we know it. Self-control is the reason why the world is not in chaos, even though there's a lot of trouble in the world. Because without self-control, the world will be a mess. Because if I feel anything, then I can act. If there's no limit to how much I can go, then I can go as long as I want. But because God knows that as human beings, there are mistakes, there are feelings, there are anger, there are emotional traumas, He put in us self-control to limit the things we do. But what these people are targeting, are telling the children, is that there's no limit to as many times they can masturbate. So what are they attacking? They are attacking their self-control. They are wrecking their self-control. They are making their self-control very weak. And that is what the devil is again. So the children will grow up with no self-control, no self-restraint, and they will wreak havoc on the society. So the first silent war the devil is attacking or using against children is to weaken their self-control, per the video you just watched. Now let's watch the second video. I'll be right back.
D5. What do you say about that? Ha! I knew you'd do that. Queen to E4 and checkmate. I love playing with myself.
There are lots of new changes that happen to our bodies during puberty. One of the changes that comes with puberty is that your body begins to produce more sex hormones. One of the results is that you may experience more interest and curiosity about sexuality. Some young people will explore these new feelings by masturbating. Masturbation means touching one's own body for pleasure, especially the genitals. Masturbation can be a way to relieve stress or learn about yourself, your body, and your feelings. Masturbation is very common. People of all genders can masturbate. It's normal if you do it, and it's normal if you don't. There are no right or wrong ways to masturbate, but it should always be done in private. No matter what rumors you may have heard, there are no negative physical effects from masturbation. Your palms won't grow hair. Your clitoris won't fall off. You won't damage your eyesight. It won't affect your period or your ability to have children in the future. If a person finds that they are masturbating so frequently that it gets in the way of their normal daily routine, they should talk to a trusted adult. But generally, masturbation, even a few times a day, does not present a problem, and it is a physically safe way to express sexual feelings.
Till next time, don't forget to visit me at amaze.org or go to my YouTube channel to watch more. Bye! I never knew it could be so huge. Hey, Jane, what are you looking at? Oh my gosh, you have to come here and see this. It's pictures of yesterday's winner of the school's annual vegetable growing contest.
Sometimes when you are on the internet, you might accidentally or intentionally end up on a website that features pornography, sometimes called porn. Being curious about sex and looking at pictures or films of naked bodies or people engaging in sexual behaviors is perfectly normal. But you have to remember that porn contains some misleading messages, like bigger is better when it comes to breasts, penises, or the duration of sex. Pornography often shows women as only existing to give men pleasure. Lastly, porn might make you think that being sexual with another person has nothing to do with having an intimate, trustful, or respectful relationship. Pornography can also contain violent images or strange-looking behavior that may be scary or disturbing. Don't forget, porn is like many movies. It's completely made up, a fantasy that could never exist in real life and does not show realistic, healthy, intimate, or loving sexual relationships between two equal partners.
I wonder how long the longest cucumber in the world is. Hey, that's not a cucumber. Okay, guys, so if you do come across something on the internet that makes you feel uncomfortable or confused, talk to an adult you trust. Till next time, and don't forget to come and visit me at amaze.org. Bye-bye!
Alright, welcome back. Now, if you listen to what the young lady says, she said, I like playing with myself. Now, you would think that she was talking to you about the chest. She was actually talking about masturbating, playing with their genitals. And so you really have to be very smart to hear the things they say. And again, they mix the truth with lies. She said masturbation is one of the ways to relieve stress. So imagine your little child, your little teenager, hearing such a word that one of the ways to relieve stress is to masturbate. Don't you think that the child, as naive as he or she is, will go ahead and masturbate? And then again, they said there are no physical side effects of masturbation. Now, to the child will say yes, but indeed, there are physical side effects of masturbation, but most importantly, there are emotional and psychological side effects of emotion. And that one they don't talk about. They only talk about what will exalt over that the children may understand. And so you really have to be very careful with the kind of channels you let your children watch. Now, some time ago, there was, I think this year, there was a photo of the Balenciaga child where the child was holding the door, and that was child pornography, and it got a lot of internet sensation, and it had to be banned because they are pushing for what we call child pornography. And no wonder that they were able to show that particular picture on their website, and that was child pornography. And some time ago, you know, a classmate also shot his own classmate in school, and then a teenager, and there's been a lot of news, especially in the US, about teenagers shooting one another, especially when they are walking to school. Why? Because when you ask them why they shot their classmate, they only tell you they got angry. Why? Because with time, they've been programmed to weaken their self-control. So a generation is coming where their self-control, their self-restraint is weakening. So anything they feel, they go ahead and act upon, because they've been taught, they've been indoctrinated to think and to act without limits. And that is what these people are against. And that is the first silent war against your child. Again, so if you're a parent, you have a guardian, you have a child, be careful about the kind of channels they watch, about the kind of cartoons they watch, because one thing they are working, the devil is working against, is to destroy, to weaken their self-control. And once your self-control is weakened, the world will be in chaos. And before I end this particular part, I'd like you to watch this last video where the parents are confronting the school about some of the things they are doing to their kids, which is evil. Watch, and I'll be right back.
We'll begin here tonight with this. What your kids can read in school libraries has become a statewide controversy. And tonight, dozens of parents didn't hold back their feelings during a pretty contentious meeting that went down in Keller. J.D. Miles tonight, the only news camera at that meeting where tempers flared over books on gender and sex that some parents are calling porn.
A sexually explicit book discovered last month on a Keller ISD library database created a firestorm that came to a head here tonight. Upset parents called on the school board to remove other similar material or resign.
Lead this district, protect our children, or get out of the way.
During a raucous meeting, parents brought signs and openly cheered, as well as booed those defending and those adamantly opposed to adult-themed books available to Keller ISD students.
And please stop the sexual grooming of our children by these types of books and illustrations.
It is my job to teach my kids about sex. It's y'all's job to help teach about reading, writing, and arithmetic.
A sexually explicit comic called Gender Queer was pulled last month from an online Keller ISD library database. State Republican leaders, including Governor Abbott, have called for an audit of all school library books and the prosecution of those school employees who allow underage students to access them. Parents who brought a wagon full of some school library books they call pornographic support that idea.
You want to know what it has in it? I'm not going to read it, but I'll tell you. Sodomy, rape, and drug use.
But another group of parents called those comments homophobic and say opponents want to censor material that fosters healthy adolescent development.
Why are we so concerned about the books in the libraries when many of these same kids have access to way worse contents on their phones and their TVs?
Having raised my boys in what amounts to be a homophobic suburb, I ask that you really think of the students before you start pulling books off the bookshelves. Those very books allow students who identify in the LGBTQIA alphabet to see themselves reflected in those pages.
The school board later explained to the crowd how it gets its books for its libraries. They say librarians look for age-appropriate material, but administrators have placed a moratorium on any adult fiction until it can review as many as 10 to 15,000 books. In Keller tonight, J.D. Miles, CBS 11 News.
J.D., thank you.
All right, welcome. So as you watch that particular video, it tells you what is actually going on with some of the schools and the things they are teaching your child. You know, you are responsible for how your child turns up. in the future, and one day you will give an account. And I hope that when that day comes, you will stand worthy to tell God how you're able to raise your child. Because like I told you, children are the gift of God, are the gift of trust from God. And what you make of them one day will be asked of you. Will God be happy with how you brought your child or not? So I'll end this video, I'll end this discussion. So this is the part 1 of our discussion. Watch out for the part 2. There's more to tell you. Bye-bye for now. The global stage. The global stage.